Welcome.
There we go.
Everybody. We'll get started in just a little bit. I'm just gonna make sure we're all here and my video is getting all connected. But welcome. We're so glad to have you all. And this is the wonderful Julia.
Well, let's see. We don't have I got to get my video started. Okay.
We'll get started in just a little bit. We're so excited to spend this weekend with you.
This operates differently on Zoom than my laptop, and I'm just trying to get used to it here.
Sure.
Okay. Did you hear me? There we go. Right?
We're muted, right?
No. That's why she said sure. Okay. We're on.
Hi, Marion.
Hi.
Glad to have you.
How many people do we have today?
We have 30 households, which is such a great group. It's actually every time I'm always so surprised it's such a big group. But yeah, we have everyone between like usually 25 to 45 households that sign up every month for classes. So we'll just give it a little bit and we'll get started in just a few minutes.
I had one question.
Sure, Joyce.
For the rice recipe, it says that there's a small onion, but it doesn't say to cook the onion.
Okay. Well, it's possible we forgot to add that to the ingredient section, but we'll get there. Are we gonna add any onion to the rice? We'll double check on that.
We can do that, but if not, it's okay too. The garlic is the most important one.
We've got a lot of I know there's a few of you that have a vegetarian kit, and we'll make modifications as we go because we are going to be using some of the meat. We give you a lot more meat than you might need, and we'll be substituting more of the ribs for the pork shoulder. So we'll get into that in just a minute. I'm just gonna get my second camera going. But yeah, I will double check on the onion if it's going into the rice. So I'll let you know that.
Yeah, I do a small.
All right, I'm just gonna mute for a second.
Okay.
All right. Can everybody hear us okay? Well, maybe we can step back. You can see us. We'll adjust the camera here. Okay. Okay, I think we'll get started. So we have a big group today. Welcome, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sarah Buckman. I've worked at Common Ground for more than 12 years. And it's always such a delight for me to be part of these cooking classes. So thank you all for sharing your Saturday with us. It's one of my favorite things to do. And we've got a wonderful menu for you tonight. For those of you that haven't taken a class with us, we do a lot of different classes. We do in-person classes in our Flatlander classroom. We do virtual classes every month. I want to let you know that since we're working in so many different kitchens today using our wonderful meal kit that Julia helped us build, all of the kitchens have different equipment and things like that. So we'll be making these dishes. I'm happy to answer any questions along the way and make sure that you're all caught up and cooking with us. So that's always exciting. It's one of my favorite things to know that everybody is hard at work prepping up all of the ingredients while we're doing it. So, and we really love these virtual classes because it gives us a really hands-on, gives you guys the chance to make the full dish and enjoy it all at the end. So we're gonna make a really great meal tonight. Because this is virtual, we want to make sure it's as interactive as possible. So we welcome any questions or additions to the conversation. Feel free to use the chat. I'll be using a backup camera so you can see some close-ups, but I'll also be able to read any comments or questions that come up. So yeah, so welcome, and I want to introduce Julia. Julia is an amazing instructor. We met last year and we were planning, we did an amazing Italian class together, and it's been on my mind for months and months to have you come back. So I'm really so excited to have you. And please let us know if any of you have if you took Julia's class last year. It was the Italian risotto class. But yeah, we're so honored to have you back, Julia. Do you want to introduce yourself to the group?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me. I'm happy to be here. I love giving cooking classes, and today I'm more than happy to present a little bit about my business. So, as you guys know already, we're gonna be learning how to make a Brazilian dish, and I'm Brazilian. So I've been living in Champagne for the past 3 years, but yeah, I was born in Brazil, have lived there for most of my life, and this is the most traditional dish you can find in Brazil and really represents our roots and our culture. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we're gonna have a lot of fun today. Oop, let me a couple things. Yep. But yeah, please, we invite you all to ask any questions as we go. Only 1 can of black beans today, Teresa. But it is 2 cups. It's just a little bit shy of 2 cups. So we'll be using 1 can of black beans. Can you hear okay now, Lisa? Was it Julia's that you needed a little bit closer? If so, we can move it maybe onto your cup.
Okay, let me know if it's better. If you can hear me.
I can increase the audio so you can hear us a little bit better. Right. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, we should be more hooked up now.
Okay, can you guys hear me well? Yeah, okay, great.
Okay. At any point, you just let us know. Well, I know I'm a loud talker, so I'll I'll make sure that you can hear Julia okay.
Yeah, so for the ones that didn't hear me well, just summarizing, I'm Brazilian, and today I'm gonna make a Brazilian dish for you guys, with you guys. So, feijoada, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about what is feijoada, what are the roots of it. But first, let's go through what you guys need to prepare everything today so you can make sure you have everything in your hands and we are ready to go, okay?
Great.
So
Perfect.
we have 3 preparations. First is the feijoada, which is a bean stew. So we're gonna need a pan, a large pan, and it's better to be wide so you can have a contact surface for the whole meat we're gonna be sauteing. So choose a large one, and better with some lid. But if you don't have any lids, that's fine. For the second one, we're gonna make the rice. So like a saucepan, it's fine. If you have the lid, perfect. If you don't, try to find something to put on top. But also we need something to wash the rice. If you have a specific tool or just
A sieve.
it's
Mhm.
fine. And a spoon for each of these preparations.
And I know that it will be a very nice and garlicky rice. Are
Mhm.
they able to use a rice cooker if they have one? We can maybe make modifications
Yeah,
if so.
if you do have the rice cooker, that's fine to use. So yeah, we can do that.
Great.
And for the third preparation, we have the collard greens. So we're gonna use
Just like a saucepan
yeah,
or skillet.
a skillet. It's better to use like with tongs to be easier to prepare. And yeah, so other than that, I recommend you to have some bowls around just to portion and do the mise en place, just to have everything organized before we started. So any kind of bowls just to organize the preparation.
Yeah, we've got like one big bowl here for our meat and then two smaller bowls. So we'll let you know when we're in need of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Measure cup in case we need to grab some water and you have a way to look how much you're using.
Mhm.
And I think we are good to go, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
Before we start, how many of you, I see a lot of familiar faces. How many are returning for the first time and how many are here for returning after having taken a class with us and how many are taking a class for the first time? I'm so curious. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Ricardo. Welcome. Welcome for the first time. Great. Nicole's new too. And Manuel, it's great to have you back. And Eric, great. We've got such a great community of people that take our virtual classes, and it's always so nice to see new faces and new names. So I'm excited to be cooking along with you guys.
and I'm curious if someone already tried feijoada before or it's their first time. Did you ever try feijoada or any other Brazilian dish? Let me know.
Taking a class with you for the first time, but I've taken classes before. Great. Returning, second class, first time Zoom. Awesome. Returning, I'm here. Hey, Eve.
Had it several
Genevieve takes almost every class. You're the best. Joyce, wonderful. Marion, that's right. Sally. Oh, granddaughter in Brazil. That's wonderful. Well, it'll be fun for you to remake this recipe with her, hopefully, down the line. And Ricardo's tried feijoada. First time trying Brazilian food.
Oh, you tried
No.
feijoada in Brazil? That's nice.
That's fantastic.
Good.
Churrasco and cheesy bread.
Great.
Oh, nice.
Cheesy bread.
Renee did your risotto class.
Oh, nice.
First time. Well, welcome everybody. What a good group.
Welcome. So other than the pins and everything I shared to you, we also have the cutting boards and some good knives.
Yeah.
I use a chef knife for the meats, so make sure you have a good one. And a smaller one, a smaller one for the more delicate and small ingredients, okay?
Great.
And just to give you a context of feijoada for the ones that doesn't know, feijoada is a really representative dish for us Brazilians because it tells us so much about our history. In Brazil, we speak Portuguese, and because we were colonized by the Portuguese, right? And during that time, they took a lot of African slaves to Brazil, and feijoada came from this merge of cultures. So we had the black beans as the native indigenous beans, local beans. And what they say about the feijoada is that the slaves used to take the rest of the pork, the leftovers from the Portuguese houses, and they used to cook with the beans they found locally. So they used to cook and make this big stew. But there are some controversies because it really looks like those Portuguese stews with some meat and vegetables and other kinds of beans. So you see like some touches of different cultures being put together. And today in Brazil, it's the most typical food every place. If you go like central, south Brazil, you can find everywhere. And it's a meal that we usually have on weekends because the traditional recipe, we use all parts of the pork. So we use feet, ears, joints, every kind of meat we can find. It's a really mix, and it becomes a really heavy stew, and not heavy in terms of not only dense in the taste, but also in the fat and collagen and everything. So you take a longer time to digest. So in the day you eat the feijoada, just rest. You're not going to be useful for anything else, you know? So
Well, you added the greens and the rice, and that I'm so excited about the orange. You were talking about that.
So
being
we
an act-
actually serve with different sides. We don't have all of the sides you usually use today, but mainly because it's not very available in US. But the rice is the typical one. Like if you go to Brazil, every day in Brazilians' families, we eat rice and beans.
Mm.
That's the common food.
Yeah.
So the rice is always together with the beans, no matter which beans you're using. And we also have the collard greens because it brings some freshness and the feeling that you're being a little bit healthy, you know.
Right, balance.
But it kind of balanced the taste. But the oranges, I imagine that a lot of people just says like, how can you match oranges with black beans? How does it make sense?
Mm.
But it really makes sense because when you merge those ingredients and the fat and so on, the citrusy and the acidity from the orange not only cleans your palate and makes you eat more, but also helps you to digest all the food that you eat. So
Yeah.
I hope you guys like the combination because I'm already used to it, but
Yeah.
I really think they make sense. And if you look at in the internet, you're gonna see other sites that we usually put together, like the farofa, which is the cassava flour that it's really like tasty and you have some crunchiness and texture.
Mhm.
So it adds to the complex of all the dish. And sometimes we serve with some plantain, fried plantain to have some sweetness. So
Mhm.
you can be creative, you know? But these are what we have today, and I think they represent a lot of what you guys can find in Brazil. Okay?
Wonderful. Okay, so let's go into what's in the kit, and then we'll go into making our first dish.
Yeah.
So we had a lot more meat than we anticipated. So we decided to give you guys for those that got the meat, you have a whole section of ribs. We also have kielbasa and some bacon. And for those that got the vegetarian, I think there's 6 of you that got vegetarian. You got a vegetarian kielbasa, 2 links, and you got some vegetarian bacon as well as some shiitake. And it was so great to brainstorm with Julia about vegetarian modifications, and you were so excited to add in the shiitake, and I think that would be a great texture, and who doesn't love shiitake mushrooms?
Yeah.
So
And the vegetarian have plenty of possibilities. What I try to talk to Sarah to understand what we could add is always trying to find something that can relate with the aspects you find in the meat. So we have the smoked flavor from some ingredients. We have kind of the how can I say, soft texture, like from the shiitake that can represent some fat from the meat and so on. So you have plenty of options that you can use and play with it, you know? So, yeah.
one other comment that we are making is, so we might not use all of the meat today. We are supplementing some of our ribs for the pork shoulder. So if you see that on your recipe card, we'll just be chopping up some additional ribs in place of the pork shoulder. But if you want to make it with pork shoulder next time, you're absolutely welcome. We have 2 onions for you. We've got a can of black beans, a whole head of garlic, 1 cup of basmati rice. We've got our spice mix.
Spice mix, the olive oil, the salt, pepper, the bay leaf, and the hot sauce.
Great. Okay. And our 2 oranges.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what you had mentioned is that you want to start with a feijoada, get that simmering, prep all the ingredients, get that simmering, and then we'll move on to the rice and then the collard greens. And then we'll be slicing up those beautiful navel oranges.
Yeah.
Okay. Any
So-
questions so far before we get started? And yeah, Julia's an amazing cook. If anybody has an Instagram, I will tag it in our recorded video at the end of class. But you do so many amazing things cooking wise, and
Thank you.
kind of a private chef. So it's great to have her today.
Thank you. So, we're gonna start with the meats. So let's just try to cut everything, prepare what we have to saute first, and then we can move to the other ingredients. But I think we can start with the bacon. So we're gonna slice some bacon now.
And I'm gonna get some close-ups here for you.
Yeah.
And then for those that are cooking vegetarian tonight, we'll start with your seitan bacon as well.
So what we're gonna do with the meats is just sauteing in each at a time, not putting everything together, because we want to make sure everything is golden and adding flavors to what we're gonna prepare today. So when you create those golden layers, you're just caramelizing all the protein in the meat, and that's what will bring a lot of flavor to the dish. So I believe that the quantity we have, maybe we are not gonna use everything.
Sounds
Maybe-
good. That was one of the questions that we just had,
Yeah,
is how much.
I'm leaving 3 slices behind.
Okay, so
So I'm
not
gonna
using
use
3
one.
slices. I think for the vegetarian, you can use all of the whole packet of bacon.
Okay, so these are 6. Maybe if we want to saute a bit.
Okay. So we're leaving behind 3 slices of bacon. So we're working with around 6 slices of bacon, and you're just stacking them together. And how thin are you going to cut it?
You don't have like a really specific rule for that, because it's gonna be really merged. So you don't want to have like really small pieces.
So maybe like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch
Yeah, I know.
slices of your bacon.
And I think we can start the heat.
Okay. So we're just gonna start sauteing the bacons. So we're gonna heat our pan. Do you think like medium?
Yeah, medium to high.
Okay. So medium to high heat for your big stock pot or your larger saucepan that we're gonna be using. And you just grouped all that bacon together and just slicing it into about inch portions.
So I'm gonna leave aside just until the pan's a little bit hot. We want to make sure it's hot so it doesn't release any moist before it gets hot.
Mhm. Our pans get a little bit hotter, as many people know. So yours might need a little bit more time than ours.
Yeah.
So
But
you-
in the meantime, we can start slicing the other ingredients. No rush,
okay.
but we can.
So moving on to the kielbasa. How much kielbasa do you think you would like to use?
I think,
Just 1/2.
yeah, half of this.
Okay.
maybe-
So we're going to use half of what we've given you.
Let me see. Yeah,
Great.
half is good. So,
And slicing it about the same size or
yeah,
a little bit thinner.
like this, how would you say?
Okay, so maybe we're doing about a 1/4 inch slice of the kielbasa. And you can do the same thing for the vegetarian sausage. Yeah, we're looking at like a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch slice. Doesn't have to be perfect. So yeah, I turned the heat off just because ours is going to be heating up really hot. So just slice 1/2 of that kielbasa up into 1/4 inch slices. And we used 6 slices of bacon. So we're getting all of our pork in today. 3 different types of pork
Yeah.
or vegetarian.
And what I was telling Sarah is that we don't have like specific rule to follow in the meats we use. Of course, we have a direction, but the direction we should take is always to find something that can add the smokiness, add some meat, and add some fat. So if you don't have like the specific meats available, you can always substitute looking for options that can fulfill this these characteristics, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think our pan is getting pretty hot.
Okay, let's add bacon.
We're gonna add our bacon in now.
And now your house will smell amazing.
I know. So good. Okay, and you'll need some sort of wooden spoon or something to stir things around. So how did you learn this recipe? From your mom, or who, or you just grew up having it all the time that you just
Yeah,
kind of
I think
always knew it?
it was in my blood.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's the typical food that when we get together with the family, and you're gonna see it's simple. It looks quite complex, but it's simple. It's easy to do, and it's easy to make like in a large amount.
Mhm.
So if you have a big family, as I do, it's a good meal to have, you know?
Yeah.
And it's only one pot, you just prepare. And especially for the cold days,
Mhm.
mm,
Mhm. So good.
they're perfect.
So how they want it really pretty hot, and then what are they looking for when they're cooking the bacon?
We want to leave it like golden, but not too fried, not
Okay.
too dry, you know?
Okay.
We like to build those golden colors in the back of in the
Mhm.
pan,
In the oil.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
can raise a little bit.
Increase the heat up just a little bit so I get it, keep it sizzling.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Are you guys already with the bacon? Let us know. if you
Pat
have
said,
any
all the
questions.
bacon or just the 4 ounce per card? Yeah, we're just gonna use the 6 slices. We left out 3 slices, I think.
Yeah, but if you guys want to do everything and when it's ready, we put the portion you want in the final stew, that's fine as
Yeah,
well, you
sounds
know,
good.
so you don't storage anything raw,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, you're welcome to cook extra if you like. We only have 1 portion of beans, so that it would be more meat heavy if they wanted to use more meat, but
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the quantity, so it can be quite proportional to the amount of beans we have.
great.
But if you like more meaty, that's fine. You're gonna be
Great.
a really rich feijoada.
Perfect.
So just to give you information about the name feijoada, feijão means beans in Portuguese. So feijoada is kind of from the feijão word. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Thanks. Eric says, smells good over here, smiley
Yeah.
face. Joy says, we're doing great. Yeah, everybody loves frying up bacon, or if you're vegetarian, totally get it. Your vegetarian bacon might not have as much fat, so you might not have to saute for as long. So so they can,
Yeah, they can add the olive oil, and use the olive oil to let it golden and
get
you know,
crisp up.
Yeah.
And ours is starting to really kind of produce some more oil, take some of the oil out of the bacon. So we're doing pretty good. We are getting a little bit of golden residue on the bottom of the pan.
And this oil is gonna be great to fry the other, like the sausages we're gonna put now.
Okay.
I forgot the name. You guys do
Yeah, the kielbasa.
kielbasa. Yeah.
How do you call, what do you call it?
In Portuguese, calabresa.
Calabresa.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you'll have to teach us some Portuguese as we go
Man,
go
it's
through it.
hard. I have a friend that has an American boyfriend, and he's learning Portuguese so well. And I
Good.
told him like, I really appreciate like the effort you're putting on it because
Aw.
even for us, speaking like correctly, it's hard. It's a hard language. It's not easy.
It is hard. I took a lot of Spanish, but yeah, there's really, it is a different pronunciation, you
Yeah.
know. A lot more vowel sounds
Yeah,
in
and you have
Portuguese.
one word that means so many different things depending on the context that you can be crazy about. So I think we are good. You can see that it's a little bit brown. It's not super cooked.
Okay.
So before it gets too crispy, we can take it out, leave the fat behind
Okay.
because we're gonna use it.
Okay. So yeah, ours, we still have a lot of pink in our bacon, but it's not crispy, but definitely cooked. So we're just putting our bacon in a little bowl here. And we've got maybe like, I would say like a quarter cup of oil that's just residually in the pan. So we remove the bacon once we feel like it's done. This is what our bacon looks like. Okay.
And now we can add the kielbasa.
Okay, adding the kielbasa in. Oh, and it's gonna fry up.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we looking for golden brown
Yeah.
on these two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe putting the heat a little bit lower.
And then for folks cooking vegetarian, you'll just you want to have a little bit of oil in with your sausages. You don't have to add a lot of oil, but you can use some of the olive oil that we portioned out for you.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think we can start cutting the ribs.
okay. Great. So we're just unwrapping our ribs. For people chopping up their shiitakes, how thin do you want them to chop their
I
shiitake
think
mushrooms?
it should be in the same,
Same-
as, yeah,
Okay, same thinness, like a
Yeah.
quarter
not too thin.
inch to a half inch sliced for the shiitake mushrooms.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think that's good.
Okay. And
So
then-
let's see about this, but I think one big one, it's not, oh, maybe that's too lower.
Increase the heat on
Yeah.
our sausages.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to make sure our heat is kind of higher for our sausages, just get those sauteed. And then we're looking at our ribs right now.
So for example, the pieces that I don't have bone in it, I will just cut as like cubes or a little bit bigger.
Like half-inch cube, or actually those are like full inch cubes. So you're gonna do, so we're kind of making up for not putting in the pork shoulder. We're gonna use some of the leftover meat from the ribs. So you're just gonna pick out wherever ribs you
Yeah, so
Uh,
for
I've
example,
never
you
seen-
can see that there is like a meat separated from the bone. You can take this meat out.
And you want that fat in there,
Yeah,
and you're just gonna cube it up into like 1-inch cubes. How much meat you think? Like a cup's worth?
let's see.
Yeah, we'll just
Let's
keep,
see, but I think 1 cup it's fine.
okay. If you want to do more, you can.
Yeah. Did it turn it off?
I think so. I wonder. There we go.
So here I have a little bit more.
Okay.
My knife is like fast.
Yeah, be careful when you're cutting up the meat. It's a little bit more dense with the fat on there.
And the meat from the ribs, it's super flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
And you specifically were looking for cubed up meat that had fat on it. So if you're just to add a little bit more of a like a chewy flavor to it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to have like extra fat. Like if you see that it's too much, you can take a little bit out. That's
Yeah,
fine. For
sounds good.
example, here, you don't
Yeah.
need that much.
Okay.
So you can take them out. And then you can feel where the bones are and cut between the bones. So you can have, for example, here we have one bone
Uh-huh.
and a little bit of meat. So we can use this as well.
Okay.
Let's mix this.
Mm.
And you can try to take this, how can I say?
Yeah, just what's collecting on
On
the
the
bottom,
bottom.
kind of like the residue. Try and scrape it up from the pan if you can. Mm. Yummy.
Yeah.
Everybody at the register is just gonna know we're cooking in here.
So here we can continue cutting between the bone.
Sorry, Manuel. Sorry if yours is a little frozen. So if it's super frozen, you can set it in a bowl of water just to kind of thaw out. But if it's still just just a little bit of frozenness to it, it's probably still okay that you can still cut it up.
Yeah, when it's frozen, it's even easier
To cut it.
to cut it. Yeah.
So maybe go ahead and cut it up still.
Yeah.
Or you can just rinse it underwater
So you
once it's
see
out of the package.
that it's already golden. I'm taking out and adding the meat.
Okay. So our sausages are kind of getting crispy and brown. So we're just adding them to the bacon.
And then I can start adding the meat.
So we have one question from Lisa is, so are we taking all the meat off of the rib? No, I think we're just going to, is this all the meat that you're gonna want?
No, I think I'm gonna take a little bit more.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we're gonna do about like probably almost 2 cups worth of diced rib meat, ideally some without the rib on it. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I'm using like
Okay.
4 or 5 pieces with bones,
Okay.
and then you can try to find in the piece you receive any pieces of meat that aren't with bones in it.
Yes.
You know, and then we can consider what.
Okay. So I would say about 2 cups of rib meat without bones, and then maybe about four slices of rib meat with the bone. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Okay. We can always add more too. We're just chopping up half of our slab right now. And you said that it's kind of important to have both them kind of ribby bones in there
The
too.
bones also adds flavor and texture to the stew.
Mhm.
So you see that it's, sorry.
Yeah.
You see that it's very, very caramelized. It's
Mhm.
almost burned. But you can continue, and if it's not too burned, we can use to continue the stew here.
Okay.
If it's too burned, then we can move to another pan. But
Okay. Sounds good. Do you want me to lower it just a little?
I think it's good. Yeah.
Great. So yeah, in all, we're probably not going to use all of the rib meat, but you're welcome to add as much as you like.
Yeah, and when you put the meat in the pan, try to scrape
Yeah, try to scrape the bottom.
the bottom to take those residues from the bottom,
Mhm.
because they add a lot of flavor.
Get that fond. Yes, that's right. I was looking for that word. It's called the fond.
The fun.
Yeah,
Good.
FOND.
Yeah, guys, feel free to teach me English as well. We call it hapa.
Papa?
Hapa. It's the back of the pan that just gets the best. you
Yeah,
know?
it is.
Even when we cook the rice and it gets a little bit burnt in the back,
Uh-huh.
everybody loves it.
It's like a
and
delicacy.
People fight for it, you know.
The apa?
Yeah, the hapa.
Papa. Papa. Okay, we're doing good. Are we doing any more ribs?
Oh, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe just one more.
Great.
It's gonna be a really meaty feijoada, but that's not bad. Not
Great.
bad at all.
So you might have extra to make another feijoada for another time.
Yeah, this was the first trial. You should make more. One, please.
Great. Okay.
Let me just wash my hands.
Yeah. Everybody doing okay? So we cut up about 5 ribs, and then we had a lot of extra meat that we just chopped up. So we did, I would say maybe a total of 3 cups of meat of the ribs. Oh yeah. And our sausages and our bacon are doing well. If you had your shiitake mushrooms, once their shiitake mushrooms are fully cooked, should they set them aside as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just make them brown and well cooked, and then you can put them aside and wait a little bit.
Okay.
So you guys noticed that we didn't add any salt until now, or any other spices or anything like that. So this was only to create those golden layers and flavor from the meat.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can start building the rest of the flavors.
Okay.
So if you have some leftovers from the meat, just put them back in the fridge. We don't want to
Okay. Sounds
use
good.
those meats.
Sounds good. And then we're done with our cutting board, so we can,
Yeah, now we're gonna cut the onions and
Okay.
garlic.
so we're gonna use a
So-
different cutting board. If you want, you could just stick it right in here.
Okay.
And our meat is still cooking. You rotated it so to make sure that we have all the sides covered. So it's time for another like medium-sized cutting board for our onions. And it looks like the fond is kind of coming off in some areas.
Yeah.
Keep scraping at it if you can. Will they end up taking the meat, removing the meat from?
So now we're gonna add the onions, add
Okay.
the garlic, and then we add the beans and all
Okay.
the spices and everything. And then we let it simmer for a while we prepare the rice and collard greens.
Great.
Okay?
Okay,
But-
so keep it on a high heat if
Yeah,
they
I
see it.
think we can keep it on medium heat,
Okay,
medium to low.
great.
Yeah, medium to low. It's a little bit cooked and it's brown.
Great.
And we can now cut the onions. So the onions we can use not only for the feijoada, but for the rice as well. It's up to you. Some families like, some families don't. But if you go to Brazil, everything has onions and garlic, okay? Everything.
Mhm.
So it's kind of the base of our cuisine. So if you want to add, you can add. I don't know the size of the onions you guys receive.
It's about the same size.
So if it is, you have a lot.
So you're just gonna, how are we cutting the onion? Are we doing just diced onions or slices?
Diced. Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be better to have them diced.
Okay, so just peel off the skin for your
Uh, s-
onions. Are you wanting to cut both onions right now or?
Yeah,
just-
we can cut everything
Okay,
and then we have them ready for all preparations.
great. Okay, so we're gonna cut both diced up 2 onions. One is gonna be for the feijoada and one's gonna be for the rice. And then how high do you want this going? Do you want it
Well,
still simmering a little bit?
Yeah, it can be low to medium.
Okay. Right, everybody with us so far? If your shiitakes and vegetarian meat doesn't have a bunch of oil in it, that's okay. You can probably just maybe turn down the heat so it doesn't burn.
Yeah. So
Wait for the
the
onions.
onions we can dice. You can guys do the way you prefer. I know everybody has their own way to cut
Yeah,
onions.
it's true.
But I like to do that way. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's gonna be simmering for a while, so it's probably gonna disappear. So just cubes like this.
Yeah,
it's
so like a
fine.
fine dice.
Yeah, I usually take this piece out. Where's
The root?
Yeah, the
Uh-huh,
root.
okay.
So just like this.
Okay.
There's a trick that every chef does that puts the fingers like this. I can never do that.
Yeah,
I could never learn how to do that.
yeah,
It's tricky.
my boyfriend, he works at Black Dog and he has the special knuckles. I just noticed I don't have as much of a grip. I haven't
Yeah.
fully learned. I use it sometimes, but there's sometimes where I'm like, I feel more comfortable having a little bit more hand on it.
Yeah, me too.
And everybody cooks in so many different ways and all around the world. And I think it's okay
Yeah.
as long as
to
you're
be
comfortable. Yeah.
Wait.
And you know your knife.
Yeah.
She brought her knives from home today, and I thought that was such a great idea because we have some really big knives, but if you're not used to
Yeah,
your
it can be
tools,
tricky.
that's more of a risk, So everybody's probably using their favorite knives at home.
I do have my favorite, and my husband doesn't touch it. He already knows.
Okay.
So we have one full onion diced. And if you notice that your preparation releases like a lot of oil and you want to take some out, that's fine. It's up to you. Everybody knows their own heart conditions.
Yes.
But if you want to keep it and you think it's gonna add some flavor, that's fine. The way it is mine, I think it's okay. It's a little bit fatty, but maybe taking just a little bit. I
Taking a
would-
little bit out?
Yeah,
Would you do like a couple tablespoons or more like
Yeah.
a quarter cup or?
yeah, like 2 tablespoons or something.
Okay,
Just so it doesn't get too
Yeah.
greasy. I think I won't
there you
do that.
go. So we're gonna take a couple tablespoons of oil out. Just so it's not too oily.
And this oil you can also use to make the rice. It adds
Oh.
flavor and it's good. So it's a trick, but if you don't have, that's fine. So now I'm gonna add the onions.
So we're adding the whole onion.
Yeah. The whole onion.
And how cooked are you looking for your onions in this?
We can make them really cooked.
Okay.
Yeah. And we want to actually transfer all the colors we could get here into the onions.
Mm,
And if they can add more color into it, let them add.
sounds good. And so should they be stirring it constantly or let it?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Okay.
always great to have you when I'm cooking because for me it's so automatic.
Yeah, no, it's so great. This is my favorite thing to do is I get to see behind the scenes on everybody's cooking. And so it's so fun. I learned so much from so many different cooks. So yeah, we're just gonna keep stirring it. Make sure that some onions are not getting left out or on the top. So keep stirring those up. So, and the same method would go for the shiitakes with the onion.
Yeah.
Since you're wanting to stir that in, like a stir fry.
So if you
Mary
already
had
added,
a question really
Yeah.
quick. Onions cooked with the meat or separate? So we have the onions cooking with the rib meat and the chopped cubed rib meat, but we have our sausages and our bacon still in a separate bowl. Hope that helps. Manuel, still waiting for those ribs to cook. No problem. I think yours are the ones that were a little frozen, so no worry. Feel free to increase the heat. We had it kind of at a high heat. But take your time.
Yeah, take your time.
You're looking for a little bit of golden crust on your rib meat.
Yeah, I will say that time is also an ingredient. So
Yeah.
you have to wait until you have the colors and build the flavors. So don't rush, that's fine. We can also wait. You're gonna see that this will still be simmering for a while. So if you miss any step, that's good. No, don't worry.
Sounds good.
And if you are with me right now and you have some time, you're letting the onions cook a little bit, we can slice the other onion just to have it ready for the rice, okay?
Great. You haven't cried on this onion.
Oh, I'm about to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Said it too early.
yeah.
We've had some really powerful red onions that we've used for kits. And so I felt like everybody's crying at the same time. So we're gonna dice up the onion the same way we did for the first.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
a fine dice for the rice.
Yeah.
And let me double check on this recipe card. Thanks. I can't remember who had mentioned it before. I don't know if it was Joyce or not. You had said something about how it wasn't in the directions, but it's in the ingredients. So directions for the rice says, wash the rice until you have clear water, set aside, heat olive oil in a saucepan over medium heat, add the garlic. Oh, Teresa, sorry you're crying. Nicole says, these onions are strong. Oh, look at this face. That's adorable. You guys are the best. My dad was he learned to cook late in life, and my mom was always she was actually a professional cook for many, many years. And so when she had a job change, he took on a lot of cooking. And he he's a swimmer, so he'd wear his swimmer's goggles whenever he would cut his onions. So that's
That should be funny.
that's my granddaughter. I love that. Pat, you said, what about the garlic? Okay,
Yeah.
let's double check.
Yeah, we're
Um,
gonna add them in both, but we can wait a little bit. Usually because as the garlic is more sensible, it will burn fast. So we add them in the end, just after the onions are cooked. And yeah,
Sounds good. So we're not at the garlic, but it will go into both the
yeah,
feijoada and the rice.
yeah.
And our onions are doing good. They're starting to absorb that oil and they're getting a little brown. They're starting to get that fond on them. Thanks to that vocab word again, Nicole. Appreciate that. So yeah, we're cutting up our onion and it did say, so the onions aren't in the directions. So we're sauteing the garlic and onions before we add the rice. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we'll let you know, but we'll be sauteing the onion with the garlic for the rice. But I forgot to put in the onion in the directions. So sorry about that. Everybody doing good? You'll be smelling the feijoada for a couple days after this.
Feijoada is an event, not only a meal.
So, do people usually, was it traditionally cooked outside or was it more of just an indoor kind of, made inside? I know there's a lot of traditional recipes that have been, usually an outdoor
Yeah,
dish.
it's usually inside, especially because we choose to eat feijoada more during the winter.
Okay, so it's like
And
warming stew.
it's not that we have snow in Brazil,
Yeah.
know, but we have some
Cold for
warm-
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But don't think that we only eat feijoada during winter. It's just that it's preferable because it's really cozy, but we eat every time in the year.
Yeah. And do you want to share a little bit about what part of Brazil you're from? Brazil is such a huge country that
it
I'm sure they're
is.
curious what part you
So
grew up in.
I'm from the state that is called Minas Gerais. And Minas, it calls like mining. It's because it was a region that they found a lot of gold. But not only gold, we are known for the cheeses and the food. So it's the region right in the central southeast area. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Brazil, but Brazil is huge and we have so many different cultures and people and traditions everywhere.
Yeah.
We have a lot of different influences throughout the country, but my region is really like a countryside, really comfy food. I was raised in a family that has farms, so my dad has a ranch with cattle and grow some crops, So that's why I'm an agronomist.
I love that.
And yeah, so it's really like it's really cultural from our part of the country to have some built-in ovens that we have some woods to put in the oven.
Yeah.
And all the foods we used to do, it's really smoked.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's really amazing. A lot of cheese, a lot of good meat, fresh vegetables, rice and beans.
Teresa, you had a question, said, there's a lot of oil in the pot from the meat. Should we take some out? I don't think we need to add olive oil for the onions and garlic.
Yeah.
So we didn't end up adding any olive oil for the feijoada.
Yeah.
We did take out like 2 tablespoons of oil and we set it aside in a little cup here, which you can reuse for when we were sauteing the onions and garlic for the rice. But we didn't add any extra olive oil. You're right on that.
Yeah.
Our our meat's made enough. But the olive oil is good for our vegetarian folks. They might need a little bit to get things moving.
Yeah, but if you do see that you have more fat than you actually want to, feel free to take more than 2 tablespoons, okay? It's up to you. It's fine to take more.
Yeah, you can modify it to your liking, as always. So if, yeah, and the way that you did it was just carefully, I would lower the flame, lower the heat on the stove, and then just scooch your food all the way to one side and then tilt and then kind of use a ladle to
Yeah,
carefully remove it, because
like-
it will be hot. But the meat will still do really well with a generous portion of oil, I feel like.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, it
Uh,
still have a lot of oil in it, so it's gonna release during the simmering. So feel free to take as much as you want to, okay?
Yeah.
So right now I'm gonna start dicing the garlic.
Okay.
And the garlic, we're gonna divide in 3 parts because we're gonna use a little bit of garlic in each of the preparations. So 1/3 in the feijoada, 1/3 in the rice, and 1/3 in the collard greens.
Great.
Okay, so make sure you dice as much as you can, just to have like small pieces, and then you separate the thirds.
Okay.
Okay.
So they'll probably use all of the garlic, the entire head.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just chop off the top a little bit just to
Chop off
open
the
things up.
top. And the
We-
garlics we find here, it's a little bit different than the ones we find in Brazil
Tell
because
me,
how can I say,
the clove?
the cloves, they're really different in sizes and
Oh,
they're not very symmetrical. In
Yeah.
Brazil, they're more easy to peel, more easy because they're so even.
oh,
and they're just-
interesting.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's so funny. And bigger?
Yeah, way bigger.
So we maybe need to bring in some Brazilian
Yeah,
heirloom garlic. Yeah,
yeah, and if you guys have those tools to, how can I say, the ones that you just pull and
oh yeah,
Mexican.
the food processor.
yeah, like a processor, feel free to use it. Makes life easier.
Yeah. So we're gonna be mincing the garlic. Oh, garlic press, that works too.
Yeah, works too.
Feel free. The garlic press is nice when you don't want to have your hands be super garlicky. I don't mind it. I have heard those tricks of rubbing your hands against the stainless steel pans or sinks when you're cleaning your hands, and that's supposed to help kind of remove the oils from your hand. But your hands might just be garlicky, oniony, and
Something that helps you to peel the garlic is to take out this part here in the
kind of like the root.
yeah, and then you can, I will show you. Put it in the water. and it
Oh,
helps.
uh-huh. Everybody's got a different method for both onions and garlic. We got people that smash everything to smithereens with the side of their knife, which
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like this idea that you're doing, which is just kind of like getting those tough, rooted bits of the garlic. I don't know the vocab word for that,
Yeah, me neither.
for that. And everything is still good. We still have it on like low heat.
Low heat.
Our onions are really, really well cooked. We can still see them. They're not, disintegrated, but they're definitely all very cooked and starting to brown. And I'm noticing the fond is really becoming easier to remove because it's allowed the onions have like kind of steamed it off. So make sure you try and remove some of that. Everything's looking good. What do you think?
Yeah, looks beautiful. Thanks for mixing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the low heat will help the onions to cook and release all the moist. and
Oh,
just make sure it doesn't
Joy says
burn.
we're from South Brazil. How do you pronounce it?
Oh,
Londrina?
Londrina,
Londrina.
Paraná. Nice. I have some friends from Londrina as well that lives here. Maybe you guys know.
Oh, great. Yeah, you should let
What's
them
her
know.
name?
Her name's Joy Das.
Join us. Nice to meet you. So
Yeah.
you see that I leave soaked just for a little bit, and it helps to take the skin out, the skin.
She says, nice, my name is Thais. Thais. Nice to meet you too.
Nice to
So
meet
sweet.
you.
Everybody's the best here. I love the community that's built with all of our cooking classes. We've had so many people get to know our different teachers, and we're always looking for other cultural cuisines to teach here. So if you're from a country whose cuisine you want to teach here, feel free to reach out. I'm always interested in showcasing different culinary cuisines and getting people familiarized with different recipes. This is the first time that we've done a Brazilian class. So I've been so looking forward to doing this with you, and
Yeah.
you really know a lot about Italian food too. And we did a really great Italian class.
And I love food.
And yeah, I know it's so fun when we get to learn and try traditional recipes, that have been made for hundreds of years,
Yeah. So guys, I know it's boring and it takes a while to prepare the garlic. I
It'll be
think
worth
it's
it.
the most annoying task in the
I do like
kitchen
this
for me.
water. So you have it in a little water bowl and you're just
Yeah,
peeling it that way.
and it helps me a little bit to take the peel.
Peel the garlic.
Peel the garlic.
And they look so perfect now.
Yeah.
What other dishes, if you were to do another class, Brazilian class, we had talked about maybe doing down the line like a Brazilian desserts.
Oh
Well-
man, we have so many. Maybe Thais, if you have a suggestion, feel free to share. If you guys know any Brazilian dish, also feel free to share. But I would say that up north, not about desserts, but up north we have a really African root,
Yeah.
and they usually use, we call it dendê oil. It's a different palm oil that really adds flavor to it.
Is it a red one?
It's a really orange one.
Yeah. Ooh, I have tried that. We used to carry it.
It tastes amazing. I don't know about you, but for me,
Yes.
that taste is amazing.
Uh-huh.
And it's really unique. And they do have some dishes with seafood that they add this oil and coconut milk, and it's just it's
Ooh.
one of my favorite.
Okay. What is that called?
Moqueca.
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 So a couple questions. Manuel says, should we add olive oil after onions cook? So that's technically in the recipe,
Yeah,
is to add the onion and garlic to the pot with a drizzle of olive oil.
yeah. I would say that if you have the vegetarian version, you can use, but if you don't and has enough oil from the meat, I don't think you need to. Okay.
Sorry, yeah, the camera is not on two. I'm still holding it from practice, but yeah, I'll get a close up of it again. Thank you for that, Eric. I get so used to and habit of holding it in one position for so long that I was like, well, I want you guys to be able to see the full static once we haven't done too much.
So I'm gonna dice the garlic so we can start adding some garlic to the meat.
He said, yes, after this class, I will teach my friends here how to make brigadeiro.
Brigadeiro. Oh my
Brigadeiro.
God, it's so good. Brigadeiro is like chocolate fudge that we make little balls and serve like in birthdays and
Wow.
and it's, I don't know, it's a really comfy food for us because
Kind of like truffles or like bonbons or something.
yes, exactly. And we do it with condensed milk.
Oops. And let me get my video better. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're mincing up all of our garlic. We peeled every single clove. And remember, we're gonna only use a third for the feijoada, and then the other 2/3 will go into both the collard greens and the rice.
Yeah, so like this, it's okay. This size,
Okay,
you see?
yeah.
So I'm gonna divide just like 3, take a little bit and add to the meat.
All right. Garlic, third of the garlic has gone into the feijoada.
Yeah.
Eric said, yes, please, to desserts. Yeah, we're gonna be brainstorming in a class together in April, so it will be an in-person class, which we do. They sell out very quickly, so if you'd like to be on our email list, also I recommend following on social media. I like to post the different classes that we have, and I think most of you were here when I was putting in the flyers. Most of you hadn't picked your kit up yet, but we're going to be doing another virtual class in March. It's going to be a dessert class, so it's going to be all about chocolate and raspberries. So we're going to be learning how to make a dark chocolate raspberry cupcakes with raspberry chocolate ganache, and we're filling it with local raspberry jam that Heidi, one of our amazing bakers in town here, has sourced and from her farm.
Oh, that's great.
And then she's gonna make a raspberry rosé fizz mocktail with rose geranium shrub, which is like kind of like a vinegar infused shrub that you can make a mocktail with instead of using alcohol. So
Wow.
oh, Pat, I'm so glad you're already signing up. So yeah, please join us for our next virtual class. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Heidi had the best cupcakes that we made in the fall a while back. Okay, so
we're gonna put back the I always forget
sausage, the kielbasa.
Kielbasa. I always forget this
You
name.
said calabas?
Calabresa.
Calabrese. And I was like, calabasa is that's squash.
The calabresa and the bacon, we put it back. And
Great.
then we can stir a little bit. And now we can add the spices.
Ooh,
So
okay.
the mix of spices that you have there, you can add now.
Okay. And that is just a combo of the half teaspoon of cumin, the half teaspoon of smoked paprika, the 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, half teaspoon of salt. So add your spice mix.
Now we're gonna add some salt. And this salt you can always correct during the process,
Mhm.
because once we add the beans, it can change a little bit. So feel free to taste while it's cooking and adjust as you like, okay? Because salt is really personal
Mhm.
too.
And there was salt in the spice mix.
Okay.
So maybe taste it, see how salty it is before you add a lot.
And the pepper. The
Okay.
pepper we can also add now.
Adding the pepper. Okay. the question was, did you drain the beans? We haven't added the beans yet. And will we
Yeah.
drain the beans?
The drain, I usually like to drain because I don't used to use the same water,
Yeah.
but it depends on the brand, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Like, let's see when we open the
Sounds
can
good.
and I can guide you guys.
Okay, great.
But
All
just
right.
mix a little bit, scrape out the how do you say?
The fond,
The fond.
it's looking real good.
And do you see how the color is beautiful? And you can see that already tastes amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, now we're gonna add the beans.
Okay.
Wait, first we can add the bay leaves,
Okay,
Okay.
bay leaves,
2 bay leaves,
get them in that oil.
yeah. And we can open the bean cans.
Okay, open our beans. So again, we added the 2 bay leaves, we added our spices. We haven't added any oil just because we have plenty of oil. And we're opening our beans right now.
Yeah, I think we can keep the water. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
You want to?
uh-huh,
Okay, so instead of draining it, we're gonna keep it.
yeah. So just throw everything in the pan. It's gonna be a really meaty feijoada.
And add the 2 cups of water now, or because we didn't drain the beans, we
Yeah.
probably have to add less water, right?
Yeah, I think we can add, let me measure. Just warm up the water right.
Okay, so we added all of the entire cup of bean, including the bean liquid, and then added a cup of water.
Yeah, I think we can add just half.
Another half cup.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are adding 1.5 cups of water to the full can of beans. And then where do we go with heat? Do we leave it on the current medium heat?
Yeah, I think we can keep it on medium.
Okay.
And then we can put the lid, but don't close entirely the lid.
Okay.
Let me show you. Just like this. And now we can forget about it and go to the next preparation.
Okay.
But so far, I want to know how are you guys doing? Did you guys follow everything? You have any questions?
So let me repeat again. So we added the full can of beans. We didn't drain it like the recipe said. So we added the full can of beans, and then we added 1.5 cups of cold water. Nicole says, I'm so hungry already, LOL. I know, doesn't it smell good? It smells so good. Does everybody follow the water? And then, so we kept it on a medium heat. Ours isn't simmering yet. It's still needing for the liquid to heat up, but we're putting a lid on top of it, but we're leaving a gap in the lid. See how there's about 1 inch of a gap here? So that will let some of that heat escape. Okay, I think we're good. Let me know where you guys are at. I think we're gonna get ready to start the rice.
Yeah. First, I just want to try to see if the salt is
Yeah, there's spoons here.
going.
So everybody should maybe try it, right?
Yeah. Let's try it too.
Okay. See where it's at. Any other differences you would recommend for the vegetarian folks?
No, I would say they should follow exactly like this. It's
Okay.
fine. Now let it sim the same way.
Okay. Okay. Ooh,
It's good.
it's good. Anything you would change?
Almost the salt.
Is
It's almost too much, but
Okay.
it's good.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay, now we wait a little bit.
So is this simmer, is this an okay simmer or should we lower it
Yeah,
a little?
lower a little bit. I think I'm gonna change.
Yeah,
the-
yeah, we can move. So feel free to move to another stovetop if our main one, we want to make that available for our rice. We're gonna move our stovetop over here. Okay. So you said it was salt, just perfectly salty,
Yeah,
but you didn't want to go too much further on the salt.
yeah, not too much. But if you guys should taste and feel
Okay.
what you guys prefer.
Okay.
So for the
Alright.
rice, can we start? Everybody's ready?
I think so. Everybody with us? And we want a simmer, but we don't want a boil. So I'm gonna lower our temp a little bit because we've got a little bit more of an intense simmer going on here. Rice in hand. All right, Pat, let's do this. Okay. So first steps is, are we sauteing? Are we gonna saute or wash the rice?
Yeah,
first?
let's wash the rice first.
Okay.
So what I like to do, it's just wash until I see that the water is coming out clear and you don't have that kind of a white dust that comes with it, you know?
Yeah, the
So,
starch.
yeah, just wash it, and when you feel that the water is coming out great, just
Okay.
it's ready.
Okay, so we have put our rice into a sieve and we're just rinsing with cold water until it runs clear. And Joyce, you take your time. She said, I'm behind. I just added the garlic. There's no rush. You're doing great. So add the garlic. And then once your garlic is really cooked, then you're gonna add your spices,
Yeah, the spices, the bay leaf.
the bay leaf, and then you're gonna add your beans
Yeah.
and your water.
Yeah.
And again, that was a 1.5 cups of water and a full can of beans. But you let me know if you have any questions, okay? Well, we're right here for you. So is it usually, you mentioned before when we were talking and planning this menu that it's traditional to do just white rice. Is that right?
Yeah.
You don't add in there's no like other spices besides garlic and onion that you
No,
know.
it's always white rice and garlic and onion for everything.
Yeah. And they keep them separate. Or I know in Costa Rica, for instance, there's a gallo pinto, which is like they put rice and beans together. And so it's like speckled.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
we have like how can I say? It some people like to eat rice and on top you put the beans,
Uh-huh.
and some people like to put the beans and then you put the rice. I think these
Ah.
people are quite weird
Yeah.
because the beans are saucy. It has
Yeah.
to be like the dry rice.
Right.
So
Right.
it doesn't make sense to put beans
On the bottom.
on the bottom.
Uh-huh.
These people are crazy. If you keep on putting beans and then the rice, I don't know.
That's funny.
So
Okay, so we washed our rice.
we wash the rice. I'm letting it like drain a little bit, but
Okay.
don't worry about that.
Okay. And I turned this off, so we're turning it back on. And what type of heat are we looking at?
Medium heat.
Medium heat.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use the fat that we took out of the meat because I know it has a little bit of flavor, but
Yeah.
if you guys don't have, feel free to use the olive oil, that's fine. It's just
Cool.
that why not adding some
Yeah, that
flavors,
sounds
right?
fun. Oh, we have it. So adding the lard. So how much oil are we adding? Are we adding the 2 tablespoons?
Yeah, 2 tablespoons. It's just like this.
Okay. So the 2 tablespoons of the oil, maybe too much, too hot?
Yeah, whatever. And then we can add the onions first.
Okay.
You want to stick?
Yeah.
And then we add the onions. And the onions go first because remember that I said that the garlic will burn faster. So we don't want anything to get too brown or too golden here.
So we're adding all the onions?
All the onion. yeah.
Okay, the whole onion.
Actually, no, it's gonna be too much. I
Okay,
just saw that we don't have too much, right? So,
okay.
um,
Half an onion?
maybe, yeah, maybe 1/3 of the onion,
Okay.
I think.
Okay, so one edit we're doing is we're adding a third of the onion, not the whole onion. But if you like oniony rice, then and you already put it in, go for it.
And then we can add the garlic.
And just a third, right?
Yeah,
Some for,
thank you.
no worry. Okay, a third of the garlic, or this was. We had 2/3 left. We're adding
Yeah.
1/3 of or we're adding a half of what we had left over.
And some salt,
Pinch of salt.
pinch of salt.
And then how long do you want to cook the onions for?
It's not gonna be too much. I just want them to look a little bit transparent,
Okay,
translucent.
yeah. Mm,
The color it has a little bit now, it's only because I use the
yeah. pork.
fat.
Mhm.
But if you're not using, don't expect the onion to be golden and brown, okay? It will be only translucent and it's fine.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
I see people crossing, going by.
Yeah, everybody's moving and
Yeah.
shaking. So Teresa, what we started with is we did 2 tablespoons of the pork fat that we took out of the feijoada, but you would just use 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil if you didn't want to use the pork fat. And then we added a third of the diced onion and a third of our total garlic. And we're sauteing this until it gets translucent. And then I think once the onions are ready, we'll add the
The rice.
rinsed garlic or the rinsed rice.
Yeah.
This is looking good.
Yes.
And is this a happy simmer for the feijoada, or do you want it a little bit stronger?
Yeah, I think we can
Stronger.
squeeze a little bit.
Sounds good. Yeah, maybe like,
Yeah.
keep an eye on your feijoada. We want it to be simmering.
Mhm. So
Okay.
at this point, we can already add the rice.
Okay.
And we don't want to stir too much here. Just mix it and we're gonna add the water so we can cook. So the amount of water, what I can recommend, maybe use the same
Okay.
container you received the rice to measure. Let me just rinse a little bit. I'm using 1. That's maybe, let's see. Yeah, 1.5.
Okay, so we're doing, instead of 2 cups of water, it's gonna be about 1.5 cups of water. We used the rice container and did 1.5 cups of but this is an 8-ounce container, so it would be 1.5 cups of water.
And
Okay.
if we need some more water during the process, then we add just a little bit, just so we don't have a really cooked rice.
Uh-huh.
It's better to have
less water, so it's not, so
Yeah.
it's still flaky. Okay.
And
All right. Everybody doing okay? So we've got
then you put the lid on it.
putting the lid on. Teresa says, thank you so much. Yum, yes. Great. All right, you guys, you're troopers.
So
See, isn't it amazing to know that 30 households are cooking your recipes right now? That's so special.
yeah, it is.
And I know that, so I'm super curious. I just want to ask, how many people are you cooking with today? Is it just you? Are you the superhero? I see two.
Two.
Nice. Two,
Two.
awesome. Let us know. 3. 1. Good job, Amy. Superhero Amy.
Great. So
1 is a kid. Awesome. Welcome. 2 here, Pat. That's great. 2, Manuel. Good job. Good teamwork.
so I think I'm gonna move this one
Yeah.
to that
Further?
side. Yeah, so it can work with the collard green.
Yep.
Um,
Okay, we're moving the rice to a further back stovetop. And then we're gonna start with the greens. So we're, again, with the rice, we want a full lid on this, right? Or,
we can leave just half
Okay.
like this.
so we have the lid kind of offset right now on the rice, as well as the feijoada. Okay, and we have, how much do you want? Do you want a medium heat for the rice or high heat?
Yeah, medium heat.
Yes. All right. All right, we're rinsing our knives off and then we're gonna get ready for our collard greens. This, all the smells, I just know is gonna go so well with the citrus too. Cause it's like that fatty, like
Yeah.
really flavorful, rich, balanced with that like citrus fragrance.
Oh, I'm already hungry.
Yeah, this is gonna be really special. Okay, so our rice is already boiling because our induction
Okay.
burner is so fast, but you still good with keeping it, the lid a little bit off?
Yeah, a little bit,
Okay.
just a little bit.
Okay, sounds good.
And I think you can put the temperature a little bit down.
Okay, so we want a slower simmer. Right now we have a really high simmer.
Let's see how this feijoada is going.
Is it time to taste test again?
We can always say.
Oh, look. The meat looks like it's really kind of like,
Yeah. Guys,
reducing off
you're
the
gonna
bone.
see that this is a really meaty feijoada. It has more meat than
And beans.
feijão, than beans. So we would have more beans, but that's fine. It's always good meat. When we have this dish served in family reunions, we always pick up the meats, and when served the last, it always ends
It's
up
only
with
beans.
only beans. So you're always mad.
The end of the line.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's better to have meat.
Yeah.
But the taste will be great.
Should we try one more time
Yeah,
on the flavor
can try.
and the feijoada? Feel free to try your stew.
Careful, it's hot.
Mm. Mm. Really good. And it's a little salty, but it's going to balance so well with the rice and the collard greens.
Yeah, the salt was a little bit more than I was expecting. But anyway, did you guys try? How does it taste? Let us know.
And if it's too salty, they could add more water, right?
Yeah, you can add more water, but we can balance with the other ingredients too, so it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, great. Rice is still good. Or do you want it lower?
See? Oh, it's good. It's
good.
Great. Okay, I think we're on to the collard greens.
Yeah, did anybody comment on the taste? They try.
So good. Nicole, the only company I have is an occasional cat. Hey, cats are great. I'm here with it. Beth says, one with an observer. Nice. Awesome. Well, we're so glad.
That's great. So
Okay.
now we're gonna wash the collard greens.
Okay.
So basically just some water, scrub the leaves a little bit to see if there is any insect or anything. But we want them clean.
Okay. Tastes good here, Ricardo says.
That's good. So collard greens, usually when you have any bugs or bug eggs, which is natural, they are usually in the back part of the leaf.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So search for them in the back.
Okay, we're just going through each of the leaves, scrubbing them a little bit.
These are
They-
pretty clean.
Yeah, they like look like they reflect the water so easily. They're just like
They look buttery. Right?
mhm, mhm. And so will you like to remove the stems when you're cooking or do you cook with the stems? I know some people,
Yeah. Some people like to take out. I don't. I
Yeah.
like the texture.
yeah.
But it's up to you guys. I like. And of course, I don't like this part.
Yeah, the very
It's
bottom
more-
stem.
Yeah, it's more
Too
deeper.
fibrous.
Yeah, too fibrous. But this part here is quite good
Okay.
to bite.
Great. Okay, we've got about a half hour, so we're doing really good on time.
Yeah, yeah. Great.
All right. All right, we rinsed our greens. Okay, looks great.
Yeah. A little bit garlic.
Okay, so we still have a little bit of garlic left over. But now it's time to make room for the collard greens. All right.
So here, as I said, this last part here, it's kind of fibrous-y, so I don't want them.
So we're removing probably where the stem is, probably like the first 2 or so inches of the bottom stem we're removing and getting rid of, but you can keep the rest of the stem. Or if you want to get rid of the stem, you don't like stems, you can get rid of those.
Yeah. So let me just show.
Yeah.
So in case you don't want the stem, what you can do is just cutting like
Oh yeah. Mhm.
this, like this.
Kind of like a V.
Yeah, like a V, and then you have less stem.
Okay.
And this pretty new like baby leaves, they're less fiber, so
They have more stem.
yeah, the stem is okay.
What's your favorite type of green? Collard greens, or do you like spinach or kale?
Arugula.
Oh, arugula, the
Yeah.
spicy.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good too.
But it's funny because here I like the arugula here, but the ones I have in Brazil, they are more spicy.
Yeah. Are they
They're-
bigger? too?
They're bigger,
Uh-huh.
larger, yeah,
Yeah.
larger leaves.
We have like baby arugula here,
Yeah.
unless you've had from Sologradia.
Mhm.
They sometimes we have their local arugula, and they let their arugula grow a lot bigger. And so it is spicier. But yeah, with the warmer temperature, it's always going to be the arugula likes the spicier. Usually it means that the older the leaves are, the more mature, or if it's been in the summertime or warmer temperatures. So I'm sure, you know, in Brazil.
For me, the best combination is the arugula when they're really spicy with some dried tomatoes
Ooh.
and mozzarella, like fresh mozzarella.
Ooh,
like
kind of like
burrata,
caprese. Yeah.
It's so
All right. We're gonna have to come back to that one for a menu. I grew arugula for the first time last year in my raised garden bed, and it was so easy.
Yeah.
It was like it didn't need anything. I just would come out every like couple of weeks to check on it, and there would be so much to just take. So you can just direct seed arugula seeds into your garden, and it grows really well here.
So guys, what I'm gonna do now, I just roll them really tight, and I'm gonna slice them in a thin. This first one is never perfect, so but trying to be as thin as possible.
So you like
But
stacked them all on top of each other
yeah,
and kind of doing a chiffonade.
yes.
So as thin as possible. That way it'll be tender.
Yeah.
It's like a big collard green wrap.
Yeah.
Looks so pretty. I love the colors.
Yeah.
One of my favorite greens is lacinato kale. It's that really dark kale. It's not, it's also called like dinosaur kale, but it's popular here and it's a little bit sweeter than green kale.
Right.
I'll have to send you home with some. I've actually, for the first time, started to use arugula in soups, like instead of spinach,
Oh.
and it was surprisingly good. So it's like kind of like spinach leaves, just chopping arugula up into some stews, and it was tasty. So this is something you probably could swap out for any green that they had,
Yeah.
but usually collard greens is traditional.
Yeah, totally. Collard greens are the typical one, and especially this one because the kale it tastes quite similar, right?
Uh-huh.
But the texture is not the same.
It's a little different, yeah.
Yeah. But this one,
Sally says kale. Yeah, are there any other greens that you would cook up in replace of collard greens? Do you have a favorite? Feel free to let us know. And the feijoada is looking good.
yeah, let me take
It's
a
starting to
look
get
at
a
the
little
rice.
foamy, not a lot, but and then the rice. Ooh, it's getting there.
Yeah. And if you see that the water is drying, try the rice. See if it's you can still feel like the bite.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Renee says, I love kale smoothies. Ooh, that sounds good. It's a great way to kind of put in more nutrition.
Yeah.
What do you think
for
about
me, you can feel the texture, like it's not super soft, but with the steam that you have and the heat that you already have there, it's gonna be perfect in a moment.
Okay.
So I would turn off the heat
Okay.
and let it rest so we can.
So you're looking for a little bit of a bite and then you turning it off the heat and just letting it continue to cook.
Yeah, but not too bite. Like you have to feel that it's almost good, but you can feel that's not that ready.
Yeah. It's a little al dente.
Yeah, a little al dente, but And you can see that there's still moist in it, you know?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna close the lid and
Okay.
let it cook with their own steam and own heat, so it can be perfect when we're ready, okay?
Sounds great.
Makes sense?
And Teresa says, for the greens, can we put in any seasoning?
Yes, yes. So what we usually do is basically saute in the olive oil with garlic and salt. But if you guys like pepper, feel free to add pepper. If you guys want to put any other spices that you guys like, it's your universe. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah,
And then at the end, we did give you guys some hot sauce.
yeah.
And is that something you drizzle on?
Yeah, the
Or
hot sauce, sometimes what we usually do is just take a little bit of the sauce from the feijoada, mix it with the hot sauce, and you just drizzle on top. So it can, I don't know,
Ooh,
merge. you
yeah,
know?
be kind of like a spicy addition.
Yeah,
Yum.
and
Okay.
yeah. So
All right.
let's
So I
do
turned off the heat. So what are we looking for? A medium, high heat?
high heat. Yeah, you
High
can
heat.
start with the high heat, and you're
Okay.
gonna see that this amount of color greens will reduce like by 1/3,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah.
okay. Okay.
So
How much oil?
I think we can start with 2 spoons. Let me see. Yeah, 2 spoons is good.
Okay. 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Just
And
to
we
coat the pan. We're doing a little skillet here. But whatever you're comfortable with. And then garlic.
add the garlic.
I want to make sure I turn that rice off. Just want to double check.
Okay.
Yep, I did. And then feijoada, you still want cooking?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can still leave it cooking. Like, just for you guys to have an idea, when we cook feijoada, we we cook it with the dried beans, right? So it usually takes a long time to cook. We let
Ah,
the beans soaked for 24 hours, because when we leave the grains soaked, it releases the proteins that are not very digestible, so it doesn't give you too many gas
uh-huh. Yeah.
when we don't want that.
Yeah.
So it helps you in the digestion too. So we leave them soaked for 24 hours, always changing the water like 3 to 4 times.
Wow.
And then we add this bean to be cooking with the meat, and we just let the beans get to the point that it's fully cooked with the meat. So it usually it's like a slow cook process,
Yeah.
really long,
Great.
and then you really merge the flavors.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, but today we had a express
Yes.
feijoada.
Yes. So you could do soaked dried black beans. You would
Mhm.
do maybe 2 cups of dried black beans or 1 cup of dried black beans.
Yeah, I think
soaking.
two
Yeah.
cups, because they usually double almost the volume.
Sounds good.
So the garlic, we don't want them gold, okay? So as soon as they start like bubbling like this, you just add the color greens.
Mm. Joyce says, do you ever add other veggies to the feijoada, such as carrots or mushrooms in addition to the meat?
No, no. I get your point. It's really like a cassoulet vibe, like the French stew.
Oh,
But it will change a little bit the base of the flavors, if I can say.
yeah.
So we don't add any vegetables. But yeah.
And then we are using the Valentina hot sauce today. We have it always at the co-op in our hot sauce aisle with our tortilla chips. And then Nicole says, I usually you're adding a little bit of salt.
Yeah, I'm gonna add the salt now.
Nicole says, I usually grow beans for shelling. Now I have a use for them. Yay!
Nice.
And then Manuel says, what's the ratio of beans to meat ideally?
It's usually like when you use the cooked beans, it's usually like 2 parts of beans for 1 to meat.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
But today I think we're doing the opposite. But it's always like according to your preferences, because I can say that when we traditionally do
Sorry.
traditionally do feijoada, it's for a lot of people, and meat is not always cheap, right? So we want something that it's affordable and can feed everybody. So that's why we don't do like a more meaty.
Teresa
But-
says, is the rice done? It should be done by now.
Yeah.
So we had ours turned off. So feel free to take a look. This would be a good time to open it up and taste. If it's still al dente, you can turn the heat off, and as long as there's no water really left in the rice, turn the heat off and just let it steam. But ours looks like it's getting there.
So the color greens is gonna be super fast. You're gonna see that they change a little bit the tone of green. They're more vibrant. They're gonna lose a little bit of volume, and that's it. I just added the olive oil, the garlic, and the salt, and it's ready. Like I don't need much heat to have them ready. So
Okay.
yeah,
They look so good. And slicing it so thin
yeah,
also helps cook it
Yeah.
faster. So you kind of want it to still stay that bright green rather than it going to a dark
yeah, for
green.
sure.
Okay.
We
'Cause
want them
sometimes
alive.
some collard greens are like will go until it's like starts to be kind of
Like a spinach tone.
yeah, or like dark browny green.
Yeah, so now it's
Okay.
ready.
Okay.
It's ready to serve. And we can prepare the oranges.
Okay. Yay, you guys. So yeah, we were just stirring the collard greens until it has that like cooked spinach color, but it's still very vibrant. Renee says the rice is amazing. I'm so excited.
And how is the texture? Did you guys like the texture? It's like not al dente, but it's not super soft
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, or soaked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And our rice at the co-op is what Sarisha will call our, so we have another cooking instructor, Sarisha, who is our Indian cuisine instructor, and she always says that our rice at the co-op is like a new rice versus like a cured rice, like Indian rice. So sometimes it holds more water than other rices. Okay, so we have over here.
Cutting board.
So now we're gonna slice up our oranges.
Yeah, so I'm using another cutting board because we don't want any oranges with the taste of garlic or onion.
Yeah, good point.
So just make sure you use a clean surface. And let me show you how we usually cut the oranges. But you have so many different ways to cut the oranges, but I'm gonna show you 2 ways. One easy, beginners.
Teresa says, is the rice done? The rice is stuck to the pan, but it's still
Oh,
good.
it's stuck. Okay, you can take out of the heat and
Okay.
just let it aside if it's stuck. Okay.
Okay, so if it's stuck to the pan, you just take it off the stovetop and it will probably
Stop.
stop cooking
yeah.
or re-steam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So are you guys with me? Everybody good? Okay. So the traditional way, which is the easiest way, is just trying to take the peel out and then we slice the oranges without the peel. So
Okay.
cutting,
So like circles of orange?
yeah, simple way. So just cutting both sides and then do like this, like this.
rather than wedges. Just to remove all of the rind.
Yeah, this is like the way my grandma does, you know?
Aw, yeah, that's a
Super
sign that it's a good
simple.
that it's a good thing when doing it the way your grandma does.
Yeah. So if you have too much of the white part, you just get out.
Okay. Do you usually keep a little white on there?
Yeah, it
Or
doesn't have
most?
any problem to keep it. It doesn't taste bad.
Okay.
So, and then you just cut the slices like this.
Oh, yummy. Your timing is perfect. We're like 8 more minutes. We'll have time to plate. Oh, that looks lovely.
Okay, so this is the traditional way, and I can teach you guys a more fancy way that I
Oh.
like as
Okay.
well. So you're gonna do almost the same, cutting the edges, taking,
Taking the rind off just like you did before.
uh,
Okay. Feel free to put the orange slices into some water to infuse it for tomorrow and have some orange water. It's a great way to, sometimes I do that with
to
my,
clean.
or just to drink.
Ah, so and then this. And then you
Oh.
can see, for example, where you see the
Pockets.
divisions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just go right in between. And you put like this. Then you have it like this.
Oh, okay. So she's cutting in between the segments.
Yeah.
Um,
And
oh, nice. So you don't have that kind of pulp, or you don't have
yeah,
that,
so it's not perfect. The ones that doesn't go out perfect, you just eat it.
yeah. See, doing some wedges.
Yeah. So this is the fancy way. It will take you more time and effort, but it always looks beautiful.
That looks great. So you kind of go before you see the line.
Yeah. And the knife needs to be good.
Yeah.
Be careful with your finger. That way.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Perfect. Hey, should
two
we
ways.
get you plates? Everything
Yeah.
usually served on a plate or in bowls or?
Yeah. I prefer like something more like a bowl.
Yeah.
So the feijoada sauce can really soak into the rice.
Uh-huh. So we're doing some shallow bowls. Okay.
Wow, smells good.
Yeah, looks great. Okay, and spoons for our rice. We're time to plate, you guys. Okay, so you'll show how you usually do it.
Yes, pretty simple, no mystery. So we start with the rice. Rice
Good.
is good. So we start with the rice.
Okay. Beautiful. I love seeing the little onions in there.
Yeah, it smells good.
Mhm.
Fresh rice is always
Yeah.
special.
Silk.
So let me take another spoon.
Mhm.
It's gonna be better. Let me take some of the meat.
Mm-hmm. Like
Together.
some rib.
Yeah. I like to put really close to the rice so this juices can just
Absorb.
absorb.
That looks beautiful.
So and have the greens.
Yummy. Aw, look how colorful. Pretty. Oh, look at that. I'll layer them in there. That's gorgeous. Look at that.
Yeah, so just to clean a little bit.
That looks so good. Great job, Julia. Okay, are you guys plating? Look at what she did with the little oranges there. So cute. Oh, sorry, my phone changed. Oh, that looks so good. You did so great. Okay, you guys, it's
I'm
time to
happy we're
try
on
it.
time.
Oh yeah. Time to dig in.
How's everybody doing?
Thank
Are you guys
you.
plating already?
Eric says, thank you so much. We're going to enjoy our dinner now. Enjoy dinner. Teresa says, that looks really good. Awesome. Okay, you guys, well, we'll let you go and have dinner. Any last questions? Feel free. We would love to invite you to the next virtual class for learn how to bake dark chocolate raspberry cupcakes and a raspberry rose fizz mocktail. I'll send you a link with the recording tonight and a link as well for that class. And then stay tuned for more of our classes. And of course, we're brainstorming a class in April. So we'll love to see you there as well. Thank you guys so much. I hope it was a good time and you learned some new dishes. And
Can we, oh, sorry, can we just say something really quick?
Yeah.
So my
Sure.
friend and I, we decided to do this together. I got the mushroom kit and she got the meat kit. And she told us that today is her boyfriend's birthday. So he's here with us. He's been to Brazil. He loves the culture. And this was just perfect. But
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
I wanna
That's
show
so
you
sweet of you to
something.
share.
Hold on. Okay, so hold on, we're trying to show you, we have on our Brazil gear.
Oh,
Let's see it. Hold on. We're
Hold on,
coming to
wait,
you.
I'm trying to,
Oh, it's your background.
I need to change my background. Give me 1 second. How do I do it?
I would really love if you guys could
Hold
take
on, I want to show you
photos.
my shirt.
Oh, there you are. Oh, wait. Oh my God.
Wait, we're trying to change the background. Hold on. Where do we change the background?
Oh, look.
I see.
Nice. Here, I'll spotlight
The
you. I'll
jersey.
spotlight you.
Oh,
Oh,
kind
you're
of.
so sweet.
Aw.
You're
Hold
so
on.
sweet. Oh, is that you, Angela?
Oh,
Yeah, that's me. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Angela. Great to see you. Yeah, Angela and I will be maybe brainstorming with some other classes down the line. I'm so excited about that.
oh,
I
that
love
is so
it. I
cute.
love it. Pele.
And we decorated yellow and green.
So yeah, we have yellow and green
I wish-
streamers.
I don't know if we could.
We
show
don't know how to change the background. Oh, here it is.
Oh.
Here it is. Adjust background. Hold
But
on.
I will
Done.
love if
Oh, there.
everybody
Oh,
could
see,
take
so here's
photos.
my shirt.
Aw, I love it. So spirited. Extra points. Extra points. Oh, that's so great. I'm so glad you guys had a good time.
Yeah, we did. We did. We've
So
had. a good
I'm gonna
time.
share my
Thank you so much.
Instagram, and I will love if everybody could just send me a photo. How does your feijoada look like? I love to see
you.
that.
It's
Thank
Paniago Jew, right?
Paniago Jew, yeah.
Okay, I'm putting it in the
Yeah, okay.
um
I'm gonna take note of their
in the
Insta-
chat.
This is our Instagram. We're
And
gonna-
I
Sure.
really hope you guys will love this.
Okay.
Because
We're gonna plate and eat.
it's a really special dish. And let me know your thoughts and how you enjoy your class today.
Thank you, will do. Thank
So
you so
glad.
much.
She will after she.
So glad you guys could join us, and I'll read more comments. Thanks, it looks excellent. Rating on my rice cooker, but so excited.
looks so good.
nice. And happy birthday.
Happy
It looks so good.
Aw, bless
Excuse
you.
my cough.
It's so good. We need to eat. Okay.
Great job. This was really fun. Oh, this was perfect. Well, I hope you join us for more classes, everybody. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you guys will have a full meal and hopefully leftovers later
Yep.
today. Thank you so much. This was amazing. Vegetarian options, great. Oh, good. I'm so glad.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Send me photos.
Yeah, please take photos and tag us on Facebook or on Instagram. I'll make sure it gets to Julia. And Dr. Katrina Starr says, I'm diabetic, so I added broccoli to the stew and it did make rice, but it's rich but fresh. Tastes really good. That's fantastic. Thanks for modifying. We're so glad that you were able to join us.
Okay.
That's fantastic. Oh, my son is eating the orange slices. LOL. There you go. A little aperitif. And oh, the hot sauce. What's the hot sauce for?
Oh, the hot sauce. Okay, let me give you a trick and you guys can use
the
for
hot
the
sauce,
hot
not
sauce.
green.
So
Hold on, I'm gonna get a close up again on this.
Right.
Good thinking, Lisa.
yeah. So what you can do is just separate a little bit.
Sorry, my phone. Let's see. I don't know if I can get. Here we go.
Okay. So separate a little bit of the
Juice.
juice.
Okay.
Okay, then. Yeah.
And put it in a container.
Yeah, put it in a container.
And you're basically just diluting the hot sauce with some of the
Yeah,
feijoada sauce.
yeah. So then you can add. Of course, you can throw right away on top of your feijoada, but in this way, I always think it's like a
I love that you're diluting it rather than just adding it. That's great. Mm,
smells good.
yeah.
And if you want some spice, you just throw it on top, and that's it.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so feel free to try that hot sauce if you like a little heat. Okay, everybody. Well, have a great rest of your weekend. And it's always such an honor to share this time with you. This is obviously my favorite thing to do. And Julia, thank you so much for sharing these recipes. It's been so nice cooking with you. I've missed you. And I'm so glad that we have new friends and new cooks with us. So sorry about having to do some of the dishes after this, but you were pretty good. You only used a couple pots. So compared to some of our other classes where we're using every dish in the house, this was kind of a one pot meal. Look, Obrigada. So sweet. Okay, well, we will let you go and feel free, please take pictures if you're willing and feel free to share it or email. I'll make sure it gets to Julia. And then Julia, you also are super talented and she's going to be doing more classes with us, but you also do, you've taught
Yeah,
cooking classes for a long time.
Yeah, I do private cooking classes or private dinners, whatever you guys think I could be useful, just reach out to me and that's it.
Okay. All right, feel free. And if anybody wants Julia's contact, I'm happy to share her email with you if you wanted to do a private lesson with her. Okay. All right. We'll let you go and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.